The most positive thing I've seen is how quickly people are jumping on board entrepreneurship in spite of all the challenges that clearly exist in the space. I see, we've always been entrepreneurial, I think, as a people, because in every community you see these small stores, we are entrepreneurial. It's just that we're always doing a lot of subsistence, doing this just to feed myself and my family, and now we're trying to break into building global brands. And the number of new entrants that keep coming, it's really encouraging. I also see a lot of hope in companies that are really making a difference. That, you know, there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of fluff, a lot of talk, a lot of pictures that we are taking, telling a very rosy picture, but you can't hide real success. For example, and let me talk about Awura Ghana, if I may. I can't pretend if people are not wearing my clothes. So if you see people wearing our clothes, it's the real thing. We can't be giving free clothes to 1,000 people or 3,000 people. And like us, there are companies that are making a real impact. And I think that some global companies are being born. And if the government is listening, this should be encouraging, but this also is a call to action that maybe you have a Facebook here. What would you do if you knew that there was a company here that could be the next Facebook, that could be the next Amazon? How would your actions change? I think that if you look at entrepreneurship in Ghana, that if you talk from financing to business support to government policies, even to infrastructure. So let's start with infrastructure. I know that now there are lots of programs that are offering shared working spaces, which is great, because when you start out, if we had this in the beginning, that would have been wonderful. We were a small team. As we grow, though, these solutions that exist currently, we don't fit into any of those spaces. We need a space that's big, like currently we're working from a 4-bedroom house. We've reached the point where we need to find a bigger space. And none of these shared working spaces would give us that. At most, you'd have a few offices. And so just looking at just infrastructure, I think that what's missing is typically the solutions that exist are for the very early stage businesses, the idea stage. But once you start to grow, there's a gap. And it shows when you go into funding, it shows that it's easy to get funding of maybe $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. As soon as you need like $200,000, people want to give $1 million because they'll tell you that the kind of due diligence they have to do for $200,000, it's just like they would do for 1 million. So then they would rather do the 1 million tickets. So there's a gap for the middle, that business that has proven that it has a market, that it's growing, and now there aren't the support systems that it needs. I'd say that's where the gaps are. I keep saying that finding a co-founder is like finding a wife or a husband. I feel very married and yet I'm very single. And it's the main thing is that these are two people who are trying to work towards a common purpose. And my decision affects her, her decisions affect me. And often you find that people, for example, let me speak for myself in this case, because we were best friends for 10 years before we came into this partnership. And the requirements, the attributes that you need to have a successful friendship, to be successful business partners, you need a different set of tools. You need accountability. You need to be able to sit and talk through challenges in a way that you probably never had to do as friends. And so it's been a very, it's a journey of discovering, but it's also a journey of growth for both of us. The thing that has kept us together, the thing that has made the company endure, is that not for a moment have we forgotten that the business must thrive. The business should not be hurt in any way, even when we are going through challenges in our friendship or the fact that we are co-partners. And it's a very interesting journey, but all in all, it's been a journey of growth and the business has been better for it. If you look at how Silicon Valley was set up, it was very intentional. There was this lecturer who decided that we needed to put these things together. And so you could see the university play a role and then he managed to get the government involved. There was a centralized Big Brother kind of thing happening. There's a lot happening here in Ghana, but I feel like it's scattered, and maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's a lot of scattered efforts, and we don't see what the central theme is. I think that as a country, we need to get to the point where we realize entrepreneurship is the way, and there has to be a certain blueprint that we are all following. And I'm not saying we should all be caged in, but there should be a certain unifying agenda, right, around which all of our different industries and talents rally around. And I somehow don't feel like this is happening, because I think that if all the players in the space were talking, this missing middle shouldn't be missing. Why should we have so many people clustered around this early stage area and the middle is missing? There's nothing happening in the middle. It's because there isn't a lot of collaboration. There isn't a lot of communication that's happening in the ecosystem. Because what's the point if you grow a business from the early stage, they get into the middle, and now they have to fizzle out because the things that they need to thrive do not exist. So I think that the thing that I would want to see, it's that intentionality, that's a word. But yeah.